hope everyone is excited for Christmas and the holidays that are coming up here well, I guess it's this week, isn't it? If you're new here, my name is Michaela Rose Becker. I am going to be a mother in March of 2022. I also run a few businesses, and basically, yeah, just welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about mental health, particularly eating disorders along, the lines of just that eating disorder brain being and like gaining weight through pregnancy. So a few triggers that I'm going to be talking about that I'm going to just announce right now is I'm going to be talking about weight. I'm going to be talking about binging and purging, and just mainly like body image and what it's like. So if this is triggering for you, please don't watch this video. I don't mean to trigger anyone, but I do want to bring awareness to this because I feel like it's not talked a lot in the community. A little background about me with my mental health and eating disorders is I've always had an interesting relationship with food. I really used it for like emotional support. So I used to be a very emotional eater. I never was like a full-on like purge, but I was definitely like the binge purge. It was more like a binge restrict. This is what I dealt with a lot, and that started around 15, 16 years old, and something I've struggled with on and off for years. I never really had treatment for it, but 3 years ago I did get into a relationship that like helped me to stop those obsessive cycles and to just feel better about myself, and basically just being able to cook for him and myself and finding joy in cooking new recipes and learning how to cook. It really helped me lose the weight that I wanted to lose in a healthy way, and it really helped me become like my best like healthy self, to the point where I didn't even have to worry about working out because I was just eating so healthy and maintaining my figure. So that's really just a little bit of my background. Now I became pregnant this past summer, and obviously with pregnancy, gaining weight is normal. I am normally around 120, 125, and I am 5'10", so that is considered like a low BMI. It is technically considered underweight, but being as a model as I am and my lifestyle, I didn't have any issues with it. My doctors didn't see it as worrisome. Now, when I became pregnant, I was worried that having such a low BMI and technically being underweight was going to harm my baby. So I initially just went right back into my binge eating ways. I developed this mindset that, oh, well, I have to gain weight. I'm eating for two, that whole thing. Not exactly the smartest thing, but that's what happened. So I started falling into just eating whatever I wanted. Unfortunately, the first 4 months I was really, really ill, and I just ate whatever could keep me down. Once the second trimester hit, I started eating unhealthy and just using the excuse, I'll lose the weight when she's here, or but really I should have been treating myself more healthier. I was just going to whatever craving that I would get. I'm having a girl, so I did have those typical sweet cravings, and I was emotionally eating because my relationship was seeming to fall apart, and I was like, how am I gonna be a single mother and moving? And I had all these big life changes happening, including just being pregnant, which I've never been before. So all these things are new to me, and I was basically just freaking out, and I used my emotional eating again as a way to cope. So you're talking like cake and like candy, ice cream, just like instead of eating real healthy meals, I was just eating like crap. And when I recently went to my my doctor's appointment, she basically was like, oh, you know, you've gained some weight. And I'm like, oh. To her, that was probably like normal to say that, but for me, it was kind of triggering because I was like, oh, like, yeah. I went from 125 to 155, which is what I'm at now, and I did that within like 2 months. I gained almost 30 pounds. So it automatically just kind of turned on my eating disorder brain to panic that, am I gaining too much weight now? Am I not gonna lose this weight when she's born? Am I going to continue these patterns? And these are just like some like of the, basically like, this is what my brain goes through. This is what happens to me when I go through these different cycles. It's not easy gaining weight during pregnancy when you've had past eating disorders. I know this topic is like so rarely talked about, but it's so important to talk about because I'm not the only one who's dealing with these thoughts and feelings of like just body image and, you know, looking in the mirror and you don't look the same anymore, you know? And if you are with a partner, you're constantly wondering like, is he gonna leave me? Is she gonna leave me? Do I not look good enough anymore for them? Are they gonna find someone else? I worry myself constantly, you know, you see people like, oh yeah, they cheated on me when I was pregnant. And I'm like, well, that's great, you know, like when you're when like that's like the time in your life that you should definitely never be cheated on, is when you're carrying someone else's baby. But it happens so often and it's just really sad. And I just hope that if you're watching this, you just understand that you're not alone and you're gonna get through this. So I also just want to share some of the ways that I'm working through some of these thoughts that I'm currently having. So basically is the first thing I did was I understood and was self-aware that I was having these thoughts. And I started realizing that I was starting to emotionally eat and binge and then feel like I shouldn't eat and had to restrict. However, being pregnant, you can't really restrict because you get so sick. So I would have to eat regardless eventually. I stopped buying so much junk food. If it's not in the house, then I'm not gonna eat it. And that's been really helpful. I do have like ice cream still, but I'm not eating like the entire pint. And I only have one small thing. I don't have like, you know, like a gallon thing of ice cream. I live by myself. Like I don't need that much and it's gonna go bad anyways. So just keeping my food in my house more healthy has helped a lot. And I also try to meal prep at least once or twice a week, so I have meals. There's a lot of days where I have naturally depression and anxiety as well, and I decided to not be on medications throughout this because I didn't want any interactions or to worry about anything happening to my daughter. So I've been struggling to say the least. These past few months have been very difficult and hard. My depression, anxiety is through the roof constantly. So on those days where it's really, really bad and I wake up and I'm just crying for no reason, you know, it's nice to have those meals that are already prepped for me, because then I can just grab those instead of, you know, when I'm depressed and I'm emotional, I'm gonna want junk food and just crap that I shouldn't be eating. So having those meal prep meals are really important for me. And I basically eat a lot of like chicken and rice, veggies. If you don't have an Instant Pot, get one and then get those cookbooks for them. They're so easy to use and I mean, I love it. I use it constantly. Another thing that I've been trying to do is remind myself that yes, gaining weight during pregnancy is healthy and normal. And some people, you know, they'll gain 10 pounds and some people gain 50 pounds. But it doesn't really make a difference. You know, you can still lose that weight. You're not gonna hang on to it forever. And I mean, my apartment building has like a free gym, so I just have to actually go and use that. But it is difficult to look in the mirror and be like, I don't look like I do anymore. And one thing that I try not to do is look at older pictures of myself when I was like, you know, size 2. I know that, you know, going through the motions of like clothes not fitting anymore is really hard. What I really have tried to do is, one, I don't have a ton of money to be wasting on maternity clothes, like maternity specific clothing. So what I've done is I've bought a lot of just leggings. I have no jeans and I don't wear jeans, not when I'm pregnant. Like it's not happening. So it's been a lot of leggings and then just like baggier sweaters and sweatshirts that are meant to be baggier because they'll fit me now and they'll fit me when I do go back down to my other size. And it also helps me feel like, oh, it still says small on the tag. I'm still a small, you know, it's not like buying a large, like, you know, it's meant to be oversized to begin with. So buying things that are meant to be oversized and they like obviously will fit you more fitted now, but they'll fit you more baggy like they're supposed to. Once you have your baby, those are good options to have if that's something that like is triggering for you, is like the actual like small, medium, large, 0 to 4, 6, like the actual numbers that are on the tags. The overall best advice that I can give you if you're someone who has a past eating disorder and you're pregnant or thinking about becoming pregnant or you've gone through pregnancy is understand that these you constantly tell yourself that these changes to your body are normal and they are supposed to happen and that you will not stay like this forever. Like eventually your child has to come out of you. So your body will not be like this forever. That's what I constantly remind myself. If you have like a really supportive partner, have them cook you really healthy meals, have them help you support, like have them be there for you and support you through this. And honestly, just be self-aware of your mind and your behaviors. Like my biggest thing was I just started recognizing like, okay, that voice is back, okay, like, and just recognizing that voice is back and then being able to do something about it. Taking the junk food out of the house, meal prepping for yourself, taking a bath, like just take care of yourself in the best way that you can and the healthiest way that you can. So not, you know, binging and purging and just taking care of yourself the way that you deserve to. I know that this was a little bit more of a vulnerable video, so if any part of this did end up triggering you and you want someone to talk about it, I'm going to leave my socials and ways that you can contact me below, and I'm open to talking about anything that may have been triggering for you, or, you know, if you just want to have someone else be like, yeah, I've dealt with this too, thank you for sharing. I will be here for you. And if you have any other future video recommendations that you'd like for me to talk about, please comment those below and also subscribe.